Hello and welcome to the Passion Driven Pioneers interview series. I'm your host, John Channon, and today I'm joined by Kyle Krull, who is the owner of Ledge Rock Builders. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, would you like to just get us started with a brief background as to who you are, what you do, and then the business that you're in?
Name's Kyle Krull. I'm live up on the North Shore, just north of Duluth, about 30 miles. I'm a licensed general contractor. Kind of specialize in building custom homes up on the North Shore, but we pretty much take care of everything, usually from start to finish, and it's been pretty fun. So
So, what inspired you to kind of get into this business or start up this business?
I've been it's been in my blood for pretty much, my dad does it, his dad did it, and so it's been, I kind of grew up doing it, and it's just been kind of a passion, and it's just the love of building houses for people and seeing their genuine, impression after it's all done and making their dreams a reality. Um, so it's just been it's that's the joy I get out of it. I could care less about the money. It's just the joy of seeing people happy and having a good quality product in the end for them. So.
Yeah, I know when you and I spoke earlier, you mentioned that building on the North Shore is a little bit unique, right? Requires some special skill sets, and you've really got to have a knowledge. Would you like to share some of that with our audience today?
Yeah, it's a lot different. I mean, I built in Red Wing for about 4 or 5 years, and then coming up here, back I grew up here, so I built up here a long time ago when I was a kid, growing with my dad and her stepdad building up here. But it's a whole different can of worms. I mean, you got clay to deal with, you're dealing with ledge rock. There's all sorts of terrain. And the winters are totally different. I mean, you can get the lake enhanced snow. So down by the lake, you could be raining, and 2 miles up, you could be having 6 inches of snow. So each build site's always a different challenging aspect. Um, but it's been, it takes a different breed to build up here, and you got to have really good subcontractors that know what they're doing. I've got really good dirt guys and guys that blast rock for me to punch in water lines and electric lines. Like down in Red Wing, it's digging in sand and clay or limestone. So it's it's fun. It's challenging, and I like a challenge. So
That's great. So talk to us about what was it like, your first year or two in business? What was that like for you? What were some of the things that you did well, and what were some of the things maybe you kind of had to learn as you were getting started?
well, when I started, it was a challenge. The first year, trying to figure it out. I was never taught, from my dad how to do the bidding side. I was the hands-on side, like the building side, learning the trade side. And when I left down there, he never had enough time to try to teach me how to bid out a job. So I kind of learned that on the go and talked to some other contractors and, just kind of trying to compare numbers. I know pricing up here is a lot more expensive just because the building is a lot more challenging and the winters are way more brutal up here than they are down there. And that was the hard part, is getting used to just the bidding side and not shortchanging yourself. So, and that's the hard part, is like, you want to put out a good work, but then you also don't want to make it too cheap where it's like you're not going to make any money. And the whole end game is trying to make some money, make a living, but not go broke doing it.
How long did it take you to figure out that part of the bidding process until you felt very, very comfortable with it? About
Roughly about 3 years.
3 years? Yeah.
Yeah, it took me about 3 years just to, because when you do so many different types of jobs, there's so many different types of bidding going on, from concrete work to trim work, sheetrock, tile work, even setting fireplaces and chimneys. And so you kind of reach out to people, or local businesses, and just, ask for their expert advice. And because a lot of times it's a two-man crew up here, so everybody's so busy they don't have time to even throw you an offer for a bid. So you kind of have to learn how to do everything and get pretty good at it pretty quick. So
That's good. I appreciate you sharing that. So
yeah.
So in your industry, right, what are some of the things that you guys are doing to kind of remain innovative in your space?
Uh, Trying to do the challenging stuff because there's a lot of guys up here that don't want to work on the ledge rock faces and the hard build sites and we tend to pride ourselves in that aspect of like it's a challenging site. I mean we're just starting a house right now that we just started laying plates on Friday, and it's probably a quarter mile long driveway that's up three switchbacks, and like if you don't have a decent truck with good tires, you're not getting up it. And we got to ferry pretty much all our lumber material up there, with the skid steer and a trailer just to get up the hills because the delivery trucks won't make it up now because it's just too icy and too snowy. And and putting out a well insulated house, that's the main thing because the winters are so brutal up here. You want to be efficient and on your housing and your heating, and your expenses, instead of having like a $500-600 electric bill. So we tend to go to spray foam, um, good insulation and good windows. I always tell that to homeowners, don't cheap on those two things because that will make or break your bank. I mean, you could spend a little bit more money on the spray foam and the windows, and your mortgage will be a little bit more, but in the end run, you're paying less in utility bills. So it kind of is benefiting. Yes, you have a little bit higher mortgage, but you're not paying the huge utility bills up here for the heating because our winters start pretty much in October and go all the way till, March, April, May. I mean, I've seen snow in June sometimes. So, and it's it's cold.
So, so what are some of the things that you do to try to maintain a work-life balance, right? Because
Um, yeah, it's hard. I mean, I got four kids, and
yeah,
I got a wife. I got a wife who's a nurse. She works 12s. And I got a 16-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So there's a big
oh,
spread. So, and my 16-year-old, he's homeschooled, and he's so he's pretty self-sufficient, and he also works 40 hours a week too at the same time. So he's got that drive, and then my 9-year-old, he plays hockey. So we just got back from a hockey tournament over the weekend. So there's a lot of driving and trying to balance the work life and the home life it's a challenge. I try to shut it off, but my brain just doesn't. It's always thinking about what I'm doing tomorrow, and my wife kind of tells me like you got to shut it off, and I was like, well, I try to. So usually I don't really answer my phone after 6 o'clock at night, and I really don't take phone calls on the weekends because that's family time. Unless it's a dire need or an emergency, I'll pick up. But usually I try not to answer my stuff at that late at night, but I do my bidding at night and when kids are all asleep and it's quiet and I can work on some paperwork that time. But usually I don't take any phone calls after 6. So,
well, it sounds also like you do a little bit of pre-planning for the next day.
yep, yep,
So you get
yep.
that set so you know what you got to do. So that's a good way to
Oh
do
yeah,
it.
yeah. I was, loading trailers up last night, getting ready for today, and so I got to go move a bunch of material today after this, and then get ready for the snow that's coming tomorrow. So it's gotta and then get back and load the snow removal equipment up because I keep the driveways and the job sites open, and that's all included usually when I do a house build. Is I take care of the job site and make sure it's open for the generals and or the subs to get in, and so I can keep the project moving at a pretty decent clip because usually we can get done in 6 to 8 months on a house depending on the size of the house. So
That's good. So Kyle, could you maybe just offer us a glimpse into the future plans and goals that you have for your business?
yeah, it's we do custom homes. So, but in the future, I mean, this summer, I think I got maybe two houses to do, two to three maybe. We're kind of in the works right now on the budgeting and planning, and there's a lot of coordinating going on with that, and it's I like my three-man crew. I mean, we're very efficient, and so I don't want to be a big multi-million dollar have a 40-man crew. I like what I do. I like being outside. I like pounding nails. I'm not a desk guy. So if I get to be that big, I don't get to enjoy what I do every day. And it's trying to find the help if you need it, if you get that big. So I think we're going to stay about this size, and we're really efficient, and we turn out really nice products for just the three of us. And and I got a good bunch of guys that work with me. So,
Yeah, I think it's important to understand, what you want your business to be, right?
yep,
And that's going to be different for everybody. So I appreciate you sharing that. Hey, you know what? This is a nice little business. We like it the way it is, and we're going to keep it going.
yep, yep. It's worked, and we've had to do some fine tuning and um, try to find because it's when you're doing two or three houses a year, it's you can't do everything, so you try to find some really good subs, some people that you trust, and they put out good quality work. People you don't have to worry about, or you shouldn't have to go inspect everything because they're honest and they're going to put out a good product in the end. And if they don't, then it's on me to address that issue and talk with the homeowners and stuff. So it's surrounding yourself with really good people is the main part.
That's great. So, Kyle, knowing that this show is going to be targeted towards people who are going to be in their first few years of business, do you have any final thoughts or words of advice you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, get really good at doing book work. That's if you're really good at the pound and nails part, it's the bookwork side that takes the while to get used to. And make sure you have a decent lawyer that you can bounce ideas off or get contracts set up. Because I've have gotten burnt in the past, and I've
Mhm.
that's how I've learned my lesson. It's like so, I have a really good lawyer. I have a really good accountant that helps me with my bookwork because I'm not tech savvy or book savvy. So that'd be one thing I'd definitely strongly advise if someone who's just getting in. It's like make sure you dot your T's and cross your I's, and and just cover all your assets because it could cost you in the end. And it's costed me some money in the past, and I've learned, and I have not made that mistake twice. So
That's great. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time today, Kyle.
yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great meeting you and learning more about your entrepreneurial journey. And for everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.